Sims Nation, welcome to another edition of Warriors Unleashed. Welcome, Warriors. Welcome to another phantasmic episode where we're going to be touching up on subjects that can help inspire you, that can help motivate you, and give you the kind of information and inspiration that you need to go out there and live your best life. And I'm very, very excited about today's episode because so many people out there, they feel that taking care of themselves is selfish. And I'm not wasting any time. I'm jumping right into what our topic is about tonight. But the truth when it comes to self-care is that self-care is not selfish. Okay, and we're going to get into what is selfish and what isn't. And so if you want to join us on that conversation, just head on over to our YouTube live chat and you can participate and be a part of the show right there. But I want to say a very special good evening and welcome to all of the listeners over at WANT Radio. It is a pleasure to be here this evening with you, and I hope you get as much out of this as I will. And also, I want to say a good evening and welcome to all of you joining us on YouTube as we live stream right here. And again, we have that live chat. So at the very least, say hello. I'd love to say hello back and recognize that you're watching right along with us. It should be fun. Hello. Hello, SO Sims 08. Yes. All right, guys. So tonight's show is all about self-care. And what does that really mean? When is self-care selfish and when is it not selfish? Well, first of all, self-care. When I talk about self-care here, here's what I'm talking about. All right. I'm talking about making and keeping yourself healthy. What I'm not talking about are the things that we do just to look better, right? We had a whole episode about this. My wife joined us on this, and we talked about the difference between getting skinny and getting healthy. Which one is more important? Which one is the one we want? What should we be striving for? And the answer is always healthy. We always want to strive for healthy over skinny, right? So if we're doing everything for cosmetic purposes, that's not really self-care, okay? Self-care, what I'm talking about is when you're wushu Wendy, self-care is self-love. Amen there. Yes. But when I'm talking about self-care from a physical standpoint, a health standpoint, I'm talking about taking care of your body in terms of being healthy, okay? Controlling blood pressure, controlling your heart rate, making sure that you have a healthy heart, making sure you have adequate blood flow and that your brain is functioning properly because you're eating the right things, you're living an active lifestyle. And then one of the most important things that we forget about when we're talking about health, fitness, is that third word in our mantra here at Warriors Unleashed, which is mindset. Okay? Mindset is extremely important when it comes to self-care. I always throw out there, I have fast-track clients through DDPY, and I talk with them every morning. Every morning I send them during the weekday. During the weekends, I give them a break from my voice. But during the weekday, every morning, I send them a morning message. And I start off with, it's a new day. Yes, it is. Little New Day fans there for you. And also, I tell them it's a new day, new opportunity. Okay? And I always talk to them about mindset as well as the physical aspects of health and fitness. And mindset is just super, super important. If we don't take care of ourselves mentally, it's very, very hard to take care of yourself physically. And I always hearken back to the Matrix, right? There's a perfect line in the Matrix, right? Is it real? Well, the mind makes it real. Why do you think we have a phrase like placebo effect? It exists because the mind makes it real. Wushu Wendy says, inside out. We also say, I still have moments, not 24/7 like I used to, once in a great while where I find myself feeling selfish for taking care of me. Like I'm putting myself above others, right? You got to, and then follows up here in the chat, you've got to believe that you're worth it, all right? So let me address this here. First of all, you've got to get out of your mind that taking care of yourself, and it not like that, not like a flick of a switch or a snap of the fingers. You've got to start getting out of your system the idea that taking care of yourself, okay, is putting yourself on a pedestal. I think we live, and human beings, I think in general, are very competitive people. So when we do anything, we're putting it somewhere on a category of priorities and where does this fall, right? You have friends. You don't just have all friends that are all parallel along the bar. You have some friends that you consider really good friends. Then you've got your best friend, right? And maybe you even have a step above that. You've got your BFF, bro. And then you've got friends. Then you've got acquaintances. We like to put titles on everything and give everything a status. And everything is that way. When you start to put the emphasis on getting yourself together mentally and physically, we tend to view that in that same sort of light where it's like, well, I feel bad because I'm putting myself above other people. And it's really not about putting yourself above others. Try looking at it this way. A lot of us want to help other people. A lot of us have that giving spirit. My wife is one of the most least selfish people that I know. My son Seth is one of the most least selfish people that I know. They give. But here's the deal. If you don't take care of yourself, then you can't give fully of yourself. And even if you do give, how long can you give for? If you want to try to help somebody who's mentally just lost and you don't have it all together here, you can't help that person. If you're trying to help someone who is physically in really bad condition, right? And you're not taking care of yourself, it's very hard to help that person. Because number one, why would they want to take your advice? If you're not taking care of yourself, if you hire a trainer to train you, let's say you're me when I first started my journey, 300 pounds, right? And horribly unhealthy. And I go to the gym and I say, I need a trainer. I need a trainer that's going to help me drop this weight, get in the best shape of my life and be as healthy as I could possibly be. And they say, okay, we've got two available trainers. We've got Joe, and Joe is 400 pounds over here and can't walk 10 steps without breathing heavy. And then we've got Rick over here who is in good shape. All right. Now, I'm not saying that Rick's the better trainer, but the perception is, just by looking, is I'm going with Rick. Even if Joe is the best trainer on the planet, the perception is Rick's the guy. Because Rick can take care of himself where Joe can't. Or won't. And so if you're trying to help people live a better life and you're not following your own advice, it makes it very, very challenging to help other people. It's always bothered and ticked me off that to take orders from an obese PE teacher. Yeah. It's true. you look at gosh, like it's just sorry, I kind of lost my train of thought there for a second. But and it really isn't that I'm not trying to say that heavy set people can't train you to be physically fit. I'm not saying that at all. All right, because it's a perception deal. And I work my line of work deals almost exclusively with perception. It's not about what you are doing. It's about what it looks like you're doing. All right. For those of you that don't know, my day job, how I actually make money, is I work in the security field. I oversee security for multiple locations for a business out here in Southern California. And it's really become like the number one deal when I bring guys in or I work with security officers. I'm like, you have to remember, you might be doing the best job on the planet, but it also has to look like you're doing the best job on the planet. Okay? This is why they tell you, like, don't get on your phone when you have a free moment. You know, look, you ever heard the phrase, look busy? Right? Look busy. Because people's perception is their reality. It's like seeing doctors smoking outside when they just told you that you had to quit. Yeah. It's hard to take anything seriously when the people giving you the information aren't following their own rules. And you see that all the time in society now. You see that across the board. You see it everywhere where people are telling you, don't do this, don't do that, don't do this. And what do? They turn right around and they get caught doing the very thing that they told you not to do. It's why I tend to stay away from don't do this, don't do that. My deal is more of an encouragement. Is like when I work with my fast track clients, I try to give them information. I tell them what I've done. I tell them what I'm doing. But I don't sit there and go, don't do this, don't do that, don't do this, right? It's more of this is how you should look at this. This is how we should be steering here. Make sure you're doing what's right for you, for your goals, for what you're trying to achieve. Here's information. Do with it what you will. I'm not here to force you to do anything. Here you go. Make it work for you, okay? Or I can help you make it work for you. But, you know, one of the things that sparks a lot of people into understanding how important self-care is love, okay? And I'm not just talking about, you know, I love my buddies, I love this, you know, I love my stereo. No, I'm talking about, that phrase dated me, didn't it? Stereo. Does anybody use that anymore? Does anybody say stereo anymore? But I'm talking about real, true love. When you find the person that you want to spend the rest of your life with, when you have children, that's a different kind of love. That's love on another level. And when your life spirals out of control is when you don't take care of yourself when you're in love like that. And I can tell you firsthand that that's the case. And I started to get to a mindset where I believed that I wasn't worth being around. I wasn't worth being here at all. And I contemplated how much better my family's life would be without me. And then the idea that I would have to be then also away from them was too painful to continue thinking about. So I had to step back and I had to say to myself, like, okay, I can't live without them. So I got to figure out a way to change, and I got to fix this. And I got to make sure that they're not ever in a situation where they're better off without me, where they need me around. Okay? And I can't be the best husband and father that I can be if I'm not taking care of me. If I'm not getting my head screwed on straight every morning, I can't give my wife the love and support she deserves. If I don't set the example for my children now, like I failed to do for the first 10 years of their life, then they're going to grow up to be just like me. And I don't want them to have to wait 40 years to decide to make a change for the better. I want them to start the process now and just live a healthy, happy, and long life going forward. But all that starts here with me. You want to make a change in someone's life. It starts with you. You'll hear people say all the time, you go, hey, you're screwing up, man. You'll tell somebody, you're screwing up, man. You're doing it wrong. And they'll turn around and say, well, you get your house in order first, then come talk to me. That's what it means to take care of yourself first. Why? Let he who is without sin cast the first stone, right? We've heard that saying a lot. Get your house in order first. Just because you're taking care of you doesn't mean you're not fulfilling your duties as a partner, as a husband, as a wife. It doesn't mean you're not fulfilling your duties as an employee or as an employer or anything else. It just means that you're taking time every day to work on you. It doesn't have to be a 24/7 job, right? It means when you have breakfast, you make good decisions. When you have lunch, you make good decisions. When you have dinner, you make good decisions. When you wake up at midnight and all you want to do is chug milk and shove down cookies and brownies, you say no. When you have free time, when you're not working and you come home and you, instead of plopping down on the couch and binge watching Netflix, you get up and you do something active. You train, you work out, you lift weights. You find 30 minutes out of your day to do something active. That's taking care of you. You take a moment, 1 moment a day, and don't tell me you don't have time for 1 moment to say something positive about you. We like to beat ourselves up all the time. We like to look in the mirror and look for every flaw we can find. We like to, maybe we don't like, maybe that's not the right way to put it. But that's what we do most of the time. We look at ourselves and we go, arms are looking a little flabby today. I'm not liking how my midsection's looking in these pants. They're a little tight around the waist here, and it's kind of, there's a little pudge hanging over. That's disgusting. That's gross. We look for all those flaws in ourselves. We do enough of that already. So what's wrong with one statement, one moment, where we look in the mirror and we tell ourselves something positive, and it actually helps if that one positive thing is not about your body. Take your mind off of the physical. Take your mind off of what you see before you. Because then you're making it about your appearance. You're not making it about health. You're making it about what you look like. And you don't have to look very far to see what happens when your appearance becomes your priority. You look at Hollywood, people who live by their appearance, and they will do whatever it takes to try to stay young. They have work done. They go on Ozempic and they misuse that, and they look emaciated, and they do cosmetic surgery, and they look fake and plastic. They don't just age like us, like normal people. And we look at them and we want to be those people? No. I want to be me. I want to be positively Pat Sims every day. I don't call myself this because I have an ego. I call myself that because it's not positively Pat Sims the star. I'm positively me. And it can have whatever meaning you want it to have. Am I a more positive person now than I used to be? Absolutely. But I am me first and foremost. I am not someone else. I am not trying to be someone else. And one of the biggest problems I've always had is comparing myself to others and going, yeah, well, okay, I'm good at this or whatever, but I'm not as good as that guy, or I'm not as popular as that person. I don't always put together two coherent sentences like that person. I ramble off instead of just staying on topic like that person. I compare myself all the time. And so one of the things I work on every day is reminding myself that I am me, and who I am is good enough. Who I am today is who I've worked for and wanted to be. Who I am today is who I was wanting to become 5 years ago. We are just a couple of weeks away from my 5-year anniversary of the day I started my journey to becoming a healthier, happier version of me. When I saved my life with the help and the support of my wife and my kids, my friends, my family, my DDPY community. 5 years. 5 years ago, I said, the man I am today is who I want to be. And I went out and I made it happen. I didn't go out there and want to be skinny. That wasn't on my radar. I wanted to be healthy. I wanted to stop having to go to the hospital for heart issues and blood pressure. One of my original goals was to lose enough weight so that I could have my shoulder replaced. And then when I lost all the weight, the doctor says, you don't have to have your shoulder replaced. You're healthy enough now. Don't have your shoulder replaced. You're too young for that anyway. But it was too far gone. So I bought myself a couple of years at best. And now I'm 2.5 years removed from that shoulder replacement, and I feel better today than I did 2.5 years ago. I feel better today than I did 10 years ago. The pain is all but gone. I'm stronger today. I'm more mobile today. I have better range of motion. And it's all because I took care of me. I took care of myself. And because of that, I have been able to inspire others to do the same. Because I took care of me, there are people out there who have messaged me, who have told me that because of you, because of what you did, I went into my surgery. I got through my injury without fear. Because I knew that you went in, you did the work, you did everything right, and you came out better for it. So many people go into big moments like replacement surgery, reconstructive surgery, whatever it is, and they have fear because they worry they're going to lose everything that they had. right? Maybe you're a track runner, maybe you're a marathon runner, and you have to have your knee replaced. You're scared that you're not going to be able to run again, the way that you did at least. Or maybe it's your hip. For me, it was the shoulder, the thing that's connected to your entire upper body. Your shoulder's connected to your chest, your back, your rotator cuff, all of this here, your bicep, your tricep. It all connects at the shoulder. And to say I wasn't afraid is a lie, because I was. I was scared to death because I had worked so hard to get where I was, and I didn't want to lose that. And my wife came to me and said to me, she said, you know, worst case scenario, you're not in pain like you were. That's the worst case scenario. Best case, you get back to where you were and maybe even better. And I got the even better part. And I think a lot of that comes down to when you let fear and stress go. That's part of taking care of yourself. When you're frustrated, when you're angry, when you're upset, you've got to take time for you to heal. When someone passes away, we miss those people. We wish they were still here with us. I don't care if you're ultra religious or you're not. We miss those people. Why? Because that's what we are as people. We want people around us. The people we love and we care about, we want them with us. That's a form of selfish, right? Because maybe those people are out of pain. Maybe those people are in a better place. And why would we want to take them away from that? It's because we make it about us. Right? And so the best thing we can do in that moment is take a step back. Take a step back and allow ourselves to heal. Allow ourselves to calm the mind so that we can make rational decisions, so that we can feel what we need to feel in that moment and not just react. Right? Many people need to do that every day. They need to take time every day. And maybe that's something you need to do. Maybe that's part of your self-care regimen, is to take time to sit and just be. Maybe you need to sit and meditate on what's happened over the past week, past month, past year, or maybe just over the last 24 hours. One of the things I know about myself, and I've talked about this with my clients and stuff, my fast track clients, is I am a very competitive person, number one, and I'm a very emotional person, number two. And both of those can work for me or they can be my detriment. If you're healthy and you're training smart, being competitive can be an advantage. But if you're over competitive, which I can be, you can hurt yourself. And I remember seeing some of my friends and stuff were doing bodybuilding type of deals and stuff, and I thought, that would be so cool to do. What a capper to the end of my story with this thing. If I were making a documentary of my shoulder replacement, what an ending it would be to end on stage doing something like that. And I thought about it for a while, and at the end of the day, I had to say no, not because I didn't think I could do it. It's because I know that I will turn it into a competition and may push myself to the point where I hurt myself, where whatever happened with the replacement is null and void, and I'm back in that hospital. So I had to make a decision. Now, I still lift to this day. I've been bulking for months, and I'm working on getting leaner and so I can actually show the muscle growth and everything that I've had. But I'm not doing it competitively because then I would go to extremes to do that. When I became a DDPY champion in 2021, I didn't become one because I competed with everybody else, because I didn't view it as a competition. I viewed it as another form of accountability, another form of inspiration to help me push forward. I didn't see people as, because the challenge wasn't about numbers. It wasn't like The Biggest Loser where the person who lost the most wins. It's not what it was about. I didn't know what it was about. I didn't know what made a champ or what didn't make a champ. I did my deal. And when the time came, I showed proof that I did it. I told my story, and they said, here you go. Congratulations. I didn't beat anybody for it. I didn't line up next to a bunch of other people and run down a track and go, haha, I win. No. That was a gift. The journey getting there was me taking care of me. And when I got that belt, it made me feel good. And I'm very proud of it. But at the same time, I've said this before, and it's no disrespect to anybody, but the belt didn't make me who I am today. The belt doesn't make a champion. The champion makes the belt. If a bad person is holding the belt, it's a detriment to the belt he's holding. But if someone lives up to the standards and the expectations of a champion, then you're making the belt mean something. And you can't do that unless you're legitimately taking care of yourself. Now, I talked about what is a selfish form of self-care. Well, self-care isn't selfish, but if you're neglecting your duties, if you're neglecting work, if you're neglecting family, if you're neglecting friends, all because you're trying to look good, all because you're trying to just impress the ladies, guys, or look good in that bathing suit, ladies, that's more of the selfish side. Okay? When it's all about the appearance, right? We talked about perception, right? What you look like doesn't mean that that's who you are. A very, very heavy-set person can be a great trainer, better trainer than a physically fit guy on the other side. It's perception that tells us that. But the heavy-set guy, that doesn't mean he shouldn't get his act together and make sure he's healthy and happy and lives a long life with those he loves. But I do think there's a balance that needs to be had here. You know, for a while, I was just adding time to my training. And I started to realize I was adding a lot of time to it, and it was taking away from real quality time doing stuff with my family, from doing stuff with for my shows, and took away from other things that I was doing. And I'm not saying that that's necessarily wrong if that's what you need to stay healthy. And there's a lot of people that as they go along this journey, they got to keep adding to it in order to stay healthy, because maybe you've wrecked yourself a bit too much over the years. But I started to look at the quality of my training. I started to look at how can I get the most out of the time that I'm going to give myself to train. Because guys, I'm not kidding. I used to train like an hour to an hour and a half doing DDPY. And then I would take a break and I'd do an hour and a half or so of weight training. Right? And to some of you guys, you're thinking, okay, that's 3 hours. So what? Well, that's 3 hours after spending 8 hours at work, after time driving, after 2 hours after I get home, where I'm still without my wife because she gets off work 2 hours after me. My kids have to do their stuff and take care of themselves. There's a lot of time that goes into the things that we need to do. There's time that goes into the things we want to do. But I always want to make sure that there's time every day to just be with family, to just not have to worry about all the stresses and struggles of life. And so I looked at the quality of my workouts, and I was looking at why. Why was I training? Was I still training because I wanted to be the example for my kids? Was I still training because they and my wife are my why? Or was it something a little bit more about just what I was seeing in the mirror? And I think there's always that what we see in the mirror thing in everything we do. I'm not going to lie about it. I'm not going to say that we don't think about how what we see in the mirror affects how we train. It does. You can't take that away. So there's always a little bit of that in everything we do. But I looked at what I was doing and I said, okay, how can I improve the quality of my training, still achieve my goals that I've set for myself, and help my family along the way? And how can I do this in a way where I can continue to help and inspire other people, right? And open up more time to give to writing my first book, to spending time with my wife, to spending time with my kids, to working on doing these shows without having to rush, right? And every time I'm looking at and I'm reassessing and I'm thinking, okay, am I taking advantage of the time that I have? And I believe that right now I found that balance in my life where I can say, yeah, I am. Every day I come home during the week and I do a DDPY workout with my youngest son. And we try to keep them a balanced DDPY workout where we are working foundational strength, we're working mobility and flexibility, we're working endurance. Then I take a break, have dinner with the family, stuff like that. And then later on, my oldest son and I will go into our area there and we'll lift weights. And lifting weights can take up to about an hour because we take our time. We're not rushing through anything. We're hitting up each muscle group that we need to do, and we hit it hard. We rest between sets. We've found what works. And now I'm taking everything that I do for me to help me be the healthiest and happiest that I can be. And I use that to help other people. I use that to help my fast track clients. I use that to help my kids. When I train with them, they're always better off than when they train alone. And it's because I try to push them to be better every single time. And I don't know if you remember when you were young, right? Unless you were an athlete, unless you were playing sports and stuff, when I was playing football and baseball and stuff, I always wanted to get better. I always wanted to be better. You know, you want to score more touchdowns. You wanted to run the ball more, get more yards. You wanted to hit more home runs, throw more guys out at second. I was a catcher. You always wanted to get better because you always wanted to go to the next level. When you're not in sports, you're not in athletics, you're not in competition like that, it's very, very difficult for people to push themselves, to challenge themselves. And the shirt I'm wearing here, if it doesn't challenge you, it doesn't change you. Right? And so when I work out with my son Owen, I'm always trying to help him, and I've told him that, you know, at his age, right, he might surprise himself with how much better he does if he just puts a little bit more effort in and tries to improve each time. My oldest son, I think, is even starting to see that more so than ever now that he's training with me every day, and I'm pushing him every day to improve constantly. Every week he's adding reps to his sets. Every week he's adding, if not reps, then he's adding weight to his sets. He has exponentially gotten stronger and added muscle to his frame since I started working with him. And that's not possible if I'm not taking care of me first. If I'm not making sure that I've got all my cards in order, and if my house isn't in order, I have to make sure I'm setting the example. And so when I tell him to push himself to failure, and then I'm going to be there to help him get 1 or 2 reps past failure, I have to do the same. I have to be able to do that same thing. So when I'm pushing a dumbbell press and I'm struggling to get that last rep up and he has to give me a little boost, all right, 2 more. Help me get 2 more. I don't care if you got to do 90% of the work. Help me get 2 more. Push me past that point of failure. Stimulate growth. Stimulate strength. And that's how we do it. And I'll tell him when I call him out on it sometimes, and he'll be the first one to tell you. He'll be doing it, and I'll barely help him lift it up. And I was like, you got more in you, bro. Right? He'll stop at 20, and I'm like, dude, bro, you got more in you. You can do this. All right? And it's about taking care of you inside and out. Now, I talked about earlier, I said that there were 2 issues I had, being ultra competitive and being emotional. Now, emotional is not exactly a problem, okay? Having emotions is fine. That's normal. I don't care if you're a guy or a girl. Guys are allowed to have emotions. Guys are allowed to cry. That's all bull crap. If anybody tells you can't, screw them. But you see, one of the things that I do when I get emotional is I have to find a way to get it to work it out of my system, and so there's a lot of different things that I do. Like I said, I'll try to take time for me to kind of allow myself to be emotional, to get it out of my system. Sometimes physical activity will help you get it out of your system. You know, I used to have a punching bag, and I think in like today, having that punching bag would have been a lifesaver in a lot of situations, because then I could just go to that thing and just beat the living hell out of it. And I didn't do that very much when I was not healthy. You know, I remember getting it and I was like, yeah, this is going to be great. And I barely used it. But now I promise you I'd be hitting that thing all the time, because that would be a great stress relief. But if what you're doing is, you know, DDPY for me is calming, but it's also a really engaging workout. And so if I was just doing that could help. But it's the weight training that bothers me, that worries me, because I know that when I put my emotions into something, if I'm angry or I'm upset or I'm sad and I put my emotions into my workout, I can over challenge myself, take things too far, and that's when you get hurt. And so it's a good thing that I recognize that. That's also a part of self-care, is understanding your limitations and understanding, maybe not limitations, I don't like that, but maybe just understanding you and where your issues lie that could send you down a path of hurting yourself or steering you away from your goals, right? How many of you guys are emotional eaters? And be honest with yourself, because I'll raise my hand. I've been an emotional eater my whole life. It's why I got so big. Wasn't just the fact that I loved food, but I was miserable. How did I deal with misery? I ate. And when I wasn't miserable and I was happy, What did I do? I celebrated, yay, by eating. Food became how I dealt with every emotion that I ever had. We give ourselves grace, in quotations there, for holidays. Why? We give ourselves an excuse to eat stuff we probably shouldn't or normally wouldn't. It's an emotional thing, right? You celebrate your birthday, you got to have birthday cake. Do I? Or do I just want to have birthday cake? Oh, it's Thanksgiving. You got to have cinnamon rolls or you've got to have pie. Do I? Or I just want to? We throw on that word need a lot, don't we? Or have to. I guess I didn't say need, did I? Have to. We throw around have to a lot. I have to. My wife is guilty of have to. I mean, I am too. I'm not going to take away from that, but my wife, I'll always say, "What are you doing?" I have to. I have to do this. I have to deep clean this house right now. Do you have to? Yes. Yeah, there she is. Yes. You have to, or do you want to? Have to. And I do that too. Right? I have to. I have to do this. Do you? Guys, self-care is not selfish. Taking care of you means that you can take care of others. Taking care of you means that you can be the best you that you can be. And when you're the best you that you can be, then you can be the best husband, wife, partner, boyfriend, girlfriend, father, mother, daughter, son, aunt, uncle, nephew, niece, friend, acquaintance, employee, coworker, any and everything. But it all starts with you. It starts and it ends with you. You want to take care of others, take care of yourself. It's not selfish to do that. In fact, it's almost selfish if you don't. Because it means you care more about making yourself feel whatever it is you want to feel in that moment than it is helping someone else feel or be healthy, right? We eat because we're depressed, and when we eat because we're depressed, it makes us more depressed, and we eat more, and we just fall down this cycle. That to me seems more selfish. To live your life to the fullest and inspire others to do the same, that doesn't seem selfish to me. But to allow yourself to get to a point where you feel like ending it all is more important because you can't deal with life anymore, that seems more selfish to me. To give up on yourself, to give up on life, seems like a very you-centric decision. Doesn't feel like you took anyone else's thoughts or emotions or opinions into account. It seemed like a one-way decision. But when you take care of you, you make sure that you're taking care of yourself, your mindset, your fitness, your health, all of that stuff. When you're taking care of you and you're doing so for the right reasons, that's not selfish. Because chances are you're doing it so that you can live longer with the ones you love, because you're doing it so you can help other people live their best lives. See, I do this show every Friday. I do this show because I love to do it, but I do it for the people that watch. I do it for the people that listen on WANT in hopes that just one person can hear what I have to say and go, I get it. And I'm going to take what he said and I'm going to do something about it. I've had people that have told me that, again, like with the shoulder thing, I've had people tell me, your show did affect me. What you talked about last week or what you're talking about this week, it means something to me. It's important to me. Does it mean that me wanting to get better on this show and make this show better, is that selfish then? Or is it me just trying to reach a wider audience and help reach more people and inspire more people? I don't do this to make money. If I did, I'm pretty bad at it. Because I don't make money doing this. It'd be nice, because then it would be nice to do some stuff like this for a living, but it's not why I'm doing it. But if I don't take care of me, why would you listen to anything I have to say? If I don't walk the talk, why would you take my advice? I have to live that life that I keep telling you guys to live. An active life, a life that doesn't live in the past, a life that learns from the past, that lives in the now, but always with the mind of living in the now and doing what it takes to make tomorrow even better. Wouldn't that be great? Guys, I mean, seriously, think about that. For 1 second, think about that. Wouldn't your life be amazing if every day you lived it to the fullest and just did one thing to make tomorrow even better? Imagine how great your life would be in just a few days. How much better it would be. And how amazing it's going to be after a month, after 6 months, after a year. We fall, we stumble along the way, but we never give up. Never allow failure to exist. When you fall, pick yourself up and move forward. Learn from that experience and move forward. It's incredible. The best analogy I can give you is lifting weights. If you lift weights and try to stimulate muscle growth properly and try to add a rep every time you lift, try to add a little bit of weight every time you get a little bit better every single week. You'll go from lifting 10 pounds to 50 pounds, and you won't even remember when you were doing 15, 20, 25, 30, 35. I forgot what it was like when I was recovering from shoulder surgery to do dumbbell bench presses with 10-pound dumbbells because I couldn't do any more than that. But it's hard for me to remember like what it was like when I got to 20, what it was like when I got to 25 and 30 and 35. It's crazy. But what fueled me through all of that was realizing that I was getting stronger and healthier than I'd ever been, and that somebody was going to see what I was doing and was going to go, oh, that I want to do that. I want to be that right there. And knowing that, I remember Wushu Wendy told me one time, like when you inspire others and you help others, it makes you feel good. Right? And I don't even think that that's selfish. I really don't. I don't think that's selfish. I think it's a natural byproduct of what it means to truly help somebody. You want to feel really good about yourself? Help someone else live their best life the way that you are. Help yourself. Help others. Right? The old Jerry Maguire thing. Help me to help you. All right? But reverse it. Help you and then to help others. Get inspired to be an inspiration. That's why I came up with that little slogan there that I've been using for many, 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 many years. I even started using that before I got my stuff together. Before I got healthy, I would say I need to get inspired to be an inspiration. That's what I want. It means take care of you. Get inspired to take care of you so that you can help people take care of themselves so that they can go on and be inspirations for others. It's my favorite saying that I have, even better than take it easy, and if it's easy, take it twice. Because I didn't come up with that. I stole that. But not from you, Doc. I stole it from Mark and Brian. Anybody, if anyone remembers the old Mark and Brian radio program, probably not. Probably not too many, but I've introduced my kids to them, and my youngest son really likes them. But guys, so we're gonna call it with that one. But before I go, one of the things I want to tell you guys is that we are going to officially, as of today, we're going to say goodbye, bye-bye, to our current Warriors Unleashed logo. It's looking very much like we have a new logo that seemingly is getting a lot of yes votes by people that I've talked to, and I think it's a good one too. And so next week, I mean, even if it's not the one we're looking at right now, but next week we will be introducing you guys to our all-new Warriors Unleashed logo. So that means that this week is your last chance to pick up any of our Warriors Unleashed merch before it becomes collector's items. So I'm going to leave them up for throughout the weekend, and then after the weekend on Monday, all of the Warriors Unleashed products that are currently available will be taken down and will be put back up once our new logo has been made official and all the products have been updated with the new logo. So I'm very excited about what's to come. For those of you wondering, why are you changing your logo? And no, it doesn't look bad, right? But I made a bad call when I designed it. So we put Warriors Unleashed. It's bright, beautiful right there next to the little lightning bolt there. And then underneath it, the way I did with Positively Pat Sims, I'll give you a nickel if you can even read that right now on your TV or your phone. You probably can't. And you can't even really see it very well on any of the merch. And so it's just, and then it's a kind of a, just didn't, to me, the more we had it, the less it seemed to fit. And I wanted something a little bit better, a little bit simpler, something that was bold and would look good like this on a hat. And our game night logo that you can see here on my brand new hat, which will be made available shortly as well on our merch page, on our merch website, positivelypatsims.printful.me. So this one also has the little lightning logo on it. So I thought the game night one, I thought looks beautiful and it works perfect with merch. So we thought the Warriors was the best option to get a new logo and get a rebrand. And I'm looking forward to it. And I hope you guys like it. It's going to look really good. I promise you. Other than that, guys, remember also head on over to Amazon right now and pick up your copy of my very first book, Vengeance, a thrilling story of faith, revenge, and redemption. Available now at Amazon on Kindle for $9.99, paperback $19.99, and hardcover $24.99. Get your copy today. And do me a favor, guys, if you have purchased Vengeance and you enjoyed it, please go on to Amazon and leave me a review. Give me 5 stars, if you will, and leave me a positive review. Those kinds of things help us reach a wider audience, because the more Amazon thinks you like it, the more it's going to try to get it out there for others and recommend it to other people. So do me that solid and get that done. And then tomorrow, guys, don't miss out. Join us tomorrow at 7 a.m. Pacific. That's 10 a.m. Eastern for the Positively Pat Sims Show as we continue our road to WrestleMania. We're going to have an all-new first-timer coming on the program, as well as regulars Benny Scala and Doc Haywood. So I'm looking forward to that as we continue letting you guys and filling you guys in on what makes each WrestleMania worth watching. And this week we are covering WrestleManias 11 through 20. If you want to catch up on where we were, head on over to our Positively Pat Sims YouTube page, and you can see part 1 available right now on demand there. So that's going to do it for me. That's going to do it for Warriors Unleashed. Ladies and gentlemen, don't forget to get inspired. And when you're inspired, be an inspiration. So long, guys. I hope you enjoyed the show, and I'll see you tomorrow on the Positively Pat Sims Show right here on WANT and on YouTube. So long, everybody. Have a great one.
The lights are dim, but the room still hums with the echoes of laughter